You're watching Best of the Bets. My name's Christina Nicolaides and we're looking at this weekend's sporting action. And this weekend we have a massive game. It is the Manchester derby, Manchester City versus Manchester United. I'm wearing red to support my team. I'm not here on my own. I have Sam Dymond from Best of the Bets and Gareth Walker, who is our bookie extraordinaire. What do we think of for this weekend's game? Well,
yeah, there's certainly no doubt in how much of a derby this is for Manchester United after the results last year and how the table eventually looked. Champions versus the runners-up, second versus first.
Prices for the game: City at 2.18, United at 3.31, and the draw is at 3.5.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating encounter. Lots of people expect there to be goals. You know, we've had 6-1 and 4-3s in recent years, but they've been at Old Trafford. The games at the Etihad don't seem to produce.
They're tighter, aren't they?
They're a lot tighter. The last 6 games at the Etihad in the Premier League have been under 1.5 goals. We've got the scores here: 1-0, 0-0, 0-1, 0-1, 0-1, 1-0, and 0-1 again.
And there was only an Italian manager in charge for some of those.
Exactly. So you know, that's certainly the way I'm looking. I think it's going to be a very, very tight encounter, a typical derby game.
1-0 to City is 8.4, 1-0 to United 10.4, or I like the 1-1 actually, which is priced at 6. I could easily see spoils being shared here.
Well, Man United, I mean, it's not been the greatest start in terms of goals conceded. If you look at 21 in the Premier League for Manchester United, 11 goals for Manchester City. I mean, that's the bit that concerns me.
I think teams are prepared to have a go at United now. I think they've been almost had a bit of a mythical status, that they're this great team that you have to let attack you. I think now teams are actually got the confidence to go to Old Trafford, and if Man U are in town, and just go and attack, and they're fallible, definitely.
But I don't think Manchester City has looked as strong as they were last season either, so I think it's all to play for.
No, I'd agree with that, and as Gareth says, teams, you know, are finally starting to have a go at Manchester United. I think teams need to do that with Man City as well, because they're not convincing. I don't think either of these teams are convincing, yet they're so, you know, far ahead in that table.
Yeah.
I think just more teams need to start having a go at them.
Well, we'll see what happens on Sunday. But Sam, what are you going for in terms of bets?
In bets, well, I think, you know, there's a variety we can look at from what I've previously said about it being a low-scoring affair. Gareth mentioned the prices for either team to win by 1-0. I like the price bet exactly 1 goal, which is 5.5. That's the way I think it's going to pan out on Sunday.
1 goal to who?
No, exactly 1 goal in the game. So, because I'm not prepared to say who I think is going to win.
Oh.
Because you'll hit us afterwards, I'd imagine.
No, that's not true. I think it could be 1-0 either way.
So yeah, you mean what Sam suggested, you could play both bets, and then it doesn't matter which team scores first, you just then sit there and hope nothing else happens for the rest of the game. At 8.4 and at 10.4, you're giving yourself sort of 4.5 to 1, that bet. OK, well, we're going to find out what Mike Holden, Best of the Bets guru, thinks about this particular game. But I think it's going to be Christina versus Mike, from what I hear.
So I personally would be more inclined to go into the specials markets. I think, you know, United to score the first goal, United to be leading after 15 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever. That's one particular avenue that punters might wish to pursue. And also City to come from behind. I think United do tend to sort of come under the cosh a little bit later on in these types of matches. So there's a distinct possibility that even if they do grab an early goal, that, you know, City will come storming back, but possibly similar to the FA Cup game last January when United were 3-0 up at half time and ended up clinging on at 3-2 against 10 men in the last 10 minutes. So they're possibly the avenues that I would pursue. I'd look to play the specials markets and try and nick something rather than get too heavily involved. But then maybe that's the emotion of the occasion for me that's preventing me from being too bold about, you know, how it might pan out. If someone held a gun to my head and said who's going to win the game, I would say City. So we've heard what Mike Holden has to say. Gareth, what are the odds? You'd never guess he supported City, would you? That was very impartial. Interesting you mentioned about that United to lead early, actually. We've got a special bet, which would be United to lead at the half-an-hour mark, so after 30 minutes. That's priced at 4.
or the more traditional half-time, full-time options. For United half-time, City full-time, that's priced at 22.
Yeah.
And for the United half-time, draw full-time, that's at 13.6. The City outright price to win the game is 2.18.
Well, hopefully Christina will be right and not Mike on that particular game. And moving into the second game.
This is the real title decider, in my opinion, Everton-Tottenham.
Really?
Well, perhaps that's stretching things a little bit, but I really, really, really like Everton. I think they're unlucky that they've not had more points if they've been a bit more clinical.
There's plenty of draws, isn't it, for Everton?
Drawing too many games. You know, just think of games like that Norwich one where they conceded a last-minute equaliser. The game at QPR when they were bossing the game, very harsh red card. And they seem to be starting off so aggressively that they're miles at the pitch, and teams are able to score a goal. They're giving opposition a goal head start. I mean, even Sunderland scored early at Goodison Park. But Everton, I think if they can just start converting these chances, they've got no European distractions.
Yeah.
You know, I really do rate them, and the odds against 2.01 to win at home to Tottenham, I really do like that price. Tottenham are 3.78. And, you know, I like Tottenham as well, to be honest. I'm just really so keen on Everton that anything odds against at home, I think, just should be snapped up.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Everton as well. I've been really impressed with them this season. They've been strong
everywhere,
strong all season, but they have been let down by concentration lapses at time. They've only won one of the last 9 league games, but they've drawn 7. So that shows, let's just not.
They were better than City last week. They played better than City. They were the only team that was going to win it at the end of that game last week.
But that said, I also like Tottenham as a team. I like what Villas-Boas is doing. There's a lot of talk now about Gareth Bale's fitness for Sunday's game. Yeah. But arguably, I think there's an absentee on the Everton side that is just as crucial in Kevin Mirallas. I really like how he's looked since he's come to England.
Look at Fellaini.
You're talking about two Belgians.
Amazing hair as well.
Well, yeah.
My favourite Belgian is also going to be on the pitch on Sunday in Moussa Dembele. I was heartbroken when he left Fulham. Yeah. Cried myself to sleep.
That is actually genuinely true.
That is true.
Yeah.
But you just have to look at the stats to see how crucial he is to Tottenham. He's missed 11 games for Tottenham this season, and they've lost 6 of them. Yeah. In the 11 games he's featured, they haven't lost 1. He's back in midfield alongside Sandro, and again, I've called a lot of draws this weekend, but I think this one will be a draw too. But I think it will be a very entertaining game.
Draw is 3.43. 2-2 potentially then.
2-2 is a scoreline I like.
12.6. Personally, I prefer the home win. Everton 2-1, 7.85. That's.
So Sam, you're going 2-2.
Yes.
And Gareth, you're going 2-1.
Yeah.
Okay. What about West Ham versus Liverpool?
Difficult place to go, West Ham, isn't it? We've seen that a lot this season.
Bubbles.
It'll be a contrasting style of play.
Are you suggesting Sam Allardyce's teams hoof it forward?
I'm not saying they hoof it. I just think they're direct and robust and effective.
Direct, robust and effective.
Well, we know Andy Carroll isn't playing with his knee injury, so he'll be out for 6 to 8 weeks. Obviously, Suarez won't be playing.
Suspended.
Well, I think the key man you've mentioned there is Suarez.
10 goals this season so far.
Yeah, I mean he's having a fantastic season, and him missing for Liverpool.
I think it's
really
going to make a difference. It'll make a difference on Sunday, definitely.
Absolutely. You have to wonder where the goals are going to come from for Liverpool, just in terms of any kind of creativity. Really, he can make something out of nothing. But I think that's just going to play into West Ham's hands.
I think West Ham will beat Liverpool.
West Ham are trading just over 3 at the moment. I think that's a good price. Liverpool 2.4, draws 3.2. But I mean, the Liverpool price is bigger on the strength of Suarez not being there. If Suarez was playing, I'm certain they would be shorter than that. I'm looking to oppose West Ham simply because I think they had such a high last weekend. Beating Chelsea, brilliant. It was as if they'd won the cup or something. Yeah. So it's almost a bit of an after the Lord's Mayor show this week.
I think West Ham can nick this. I think confidence will be flowing.
In terms of result,
I'm going to go 1-0.
1-0, 7.1.
I'll take it.
I'll go 2-1 Liverpool, 8.7.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going 2-0 West Ham.
2-0 West Ham.
Very confident.
12.4 you can have about that.
Thank you very much. I'll have that one.
You like these big prices, don't you?
We're moving on to European, and we're going to look at Betis versus Barcelona. Now, what a fantastic start to the season Barcelona have had. Unfortunately, with Lionel Messi, we don't know whether he is going to feature in the game. He isn't going to feature in the game because of what happened against Benfica in terms of knee collision.
Yeah, I mean,
against the Benfica keeper, but
it's going to make a difference to the prize. It's difficult to know exactly his chances because don't necessarily believe everything we hear coming out of the new camp.
Yeah.
It's rare to see teams as short as 1.29 away from home. Very unusual, except in the case of Barcelona every other week who go off at similar sort of prices.
And Betis had a good start this season as well.
They're playing fourth in the league.
Yeah.
Betis have been fantastic. I mean, so glad that they stuck with Pepe Mel as manager. He was so close to the sack last season when they were languishing in the bottom three. But they had a great start. They
apart from in the derby,
took an absolute hammering in the Seville derby a couple of weeks ago.
Turning up in the first half generally helps when you're playing in the derby.
They found themselves 2-0 down within 5 minutes, but they bounced back and they beat Real Madrid at home a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
that's got to be the template that they want to follow.
Barcelona haven't lost a game. They've drawn one game,
and won the others,
which was against Real Madrid back in October.
They nearly lost on Wednesday.
But they
didn't. They haven't convinced.
They lost to Celtic, so they can lose to anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They haven't convinced at all times this season, and they have looked as though they're there for the taking. Whether Betis are the team to do that, it remains to be seen. But they've got chances, and at the prices, you've got to say that they're worth a look. Yeah,
it's 9.84 for Betis, 1.29 for Barcelona, or 5.5 for the draw.
So let's assume Messi is playing for this weekend, for this Sunday. Sam, in terms of result.
It's a tough one to call because you don't want to take on Barcelona. You could end up looking foolish. I quite like the look of a 1-0 Betis win. It could happen again, but you do that and you risk the danger of being taken apart by Barcelona and then racking up a huge scoreline. I will go with 1-0 Betis, but I would also probably look at a saver of Barcelona scoring a hatful somehow.
And Gareth?
So, yeah, well, 1-0 Betis is 24, and it's a very good point Sam makes, because you're getting 24 about a 1-0 win to Betis, and that's a bigger price than you're getting about Barcelona 5-0, 6-0, 6-1. It's 15 for 5-0, 23.5 for 6-0, and 23 for 6-1.
I still go for a Barcelona win.
Well, you may be interested in the bet on the goal crazy options. You can choose either 0 or 1 goals, 2 or 3 goals, or 4+ goals in the match. 4 or more goals in the match is 1.75, and I think either way you're looking at a good bet. If Betis do start well and score, Barca are going to come right back at them. If Barca score early, the game will open up. Inter
versus Napoli on Sunday.
It is an intriguing matchup. We've got second v third in the league, both pushing Juventus, both chasing the Scudetto. Inter have performed brilliantly at times this season.
Yeah.
They brought Juventus's 49-match unbeaten run to an end. But since then, in the aftermath of that, they've gone off the boil. They've won just one of the last 4. Napoli did the double over Inter last season, but previous to that, Inter had won the last 5 against them at San Siro, and I think that could be continued now. I'm going to go Inter to win, 2-1.
2-1 is 8.3. I like my 1-all, so I'm going to go 1-1. That's trading at 6.7.
OK. And Joey Barton in the news recently.
Oh, is this our chance to do a bit of a comedy French voice?
Well, we're not actually looking at Marseille, but we're looking at Saint-Étienne versus Lyon.
Yes, this is a huge derby in France. I'd say, for me, the best derby of the weekend. I think it's going to be tight. Saint-Étienne have looked really good at times this season, but I think this is going to end in a stalemate. I'm going to go with another draw.
I think you might be right there.
3.2 for the draw. 0-0 is 9.5. 1-1, 6.7. I prefer the 0-0 for this one, actually. 9.5, nothing, no goals. And one bet that I really do like for this game, in fact, I think it's one of the best prices of the weekend. We've got a very popular both teams to score bet. You can also do the more negative option, which is both teams not to score. So as long as one side keeps a clean sheet, you've backed a winner. French league is notoriously good for getting for one team not scoring. Some very cagey games there. And 1.86 for basically one of the teams or both to keep a clean sheet, to me is a great bet.
OK, so we're almost out of time. Best bets for Sunday's games, Sam?
I'm going to go with the draw in Everton-Tottenham.
OK.
Well, I'm going to go same game, but I think Everton, absolute mustard bet, 2.01. Chance to more than double your money. Fantastic, Everton to win.
I think that game will be a draw personally, but my best bet for Sunday has to be Manchester United to beat Manchester City.
Don't believe it. 3.3.
1-0. Come on, Christina
1-0.
versus
10 point. Your best bet. You're going for a correct score.
versus Mike.
10.4.
Head on head.
Yeah, good luck to you.
Yeah, he has got a very shiny head.
I hope you win, if not just to see what Mike has to say next week.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Remember, you can place your bets for this weekend's games on our website, www.heavenbet.com. That's all we've got time for now. Big thank you to Sam, big thank you to Gareth, and we'll see you next week. See you then. Bye-bye.